Hey guys, this is one of our favorite times of the year when the Food and Wine Festival menus come out for Epcot's Food and Wine Festival. This is the menu for 2018, so we're going to do our preview video where we go over the menu items, talk about what's changed from last year, and also talk about what we're excited about for this year. So you want to start first with what's coming and what's different this year?
Yeah, so let's do some running of the numbers. So I'm a nerd. I like to keep track of all the menus I actually put on my Google Drive so I can compare year to year what's changed. I don't know, it's kind of fun. So anyway, this year, there's 33 or 34 booths compared to last year where there was 35. Last year was Epcot's 35th. So
Anniversary.
30. So that was 35 booths, which was, I think, the most they had in the history
I think so, yeah.
of the festival. This year, I say 33 or 34 because I think they're saying that the Festival Center Wine Shop is a new booth, maybe. But I think that's just rehash of the Intermissions Cafe,
which has always been there.
Right, and I really don't count. And I don't count those like Joffrey carts and that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, anything that's permanent, I really don't count. So in my book, I think it's 33 total booths this year.
Right. For individual kiosks.
Yeah, and then unfortunately for the gluten-free people out there, that looks like they really cut the numbers down. Last year it was 21 gluten-free items. This year is 13.
Yeah, that's a big cut. And some of my favorites went away too, which I'll mention one of those when we get to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a bummer. Well, and also that you're about to get to the kiosks that are no longer there. One of those had a good gluten-free item too. One of the kiosks that they
So there's three.
Have.
The two. The one new kiosk or booth, whatever, is the Mimosa Bar. I don't think I have. Yeah, it's called Shimmering Sips Mimosa Bar.
Well, they also have that Taste Track booth. Now they've used that Taste Track for other things, but they're using it exclusively for food and wine booth. But it's only desserts at that, and we're not big dessert people. But that's also technically
it's that little
new.
pop-up thing next to
Test Track, right?
I think before they
Taste Track
served like mac and cheese dishes.
Well, they had grilled cheeses there for a while too. Yeah, but it's kind of seasonal. It pops up once in a while, so they're going to use it for food and wine. So it's kind of new, kind of not.
Yeah. So the three booths that are not coming back that were here last year is Farm Fresh, Patagonia, and Scotland. I was really
surprised about Scotland.
shocked by Scotland.
Yeah, because it seemed pretty popular. And then I was disappointed about Patagonia because they had a really great beef skewer with a chimichurri sauce that was gluten-free, and it was really good. So
the Farm Fresh, because I checked what was I missing from last year. Yeah,
nothing memorable because I couldn't think of anything from it that I'm missing.
Yeah.
Also, we should take a little step back too and talk about what this is if you're new to Disney World and you happened upon this video.
Yeah,
and you're
what
not
exactly
familiar.
is a food festival?
So every year, and the dates change each year slightly, but from roughly the beginning of September or the end of August, and it runs through somewhere around mid-November. Right now, that's the typical dates. At Epcot at Walt Disney World, they put up these temporary kiosks all over World Showcase and some in Future World. And basically, usually different countries are represented, but sometimes, like the Farm Fresh is an example, sometimes it's just a collection of things that aren't from a specific country. And it's a great way to get sample sizes for a price, of course, of food and drink. And so it's a good way to try a bunch of things you've never tried before. So these are not full meals, they're just samples.
Prices typically range anywhere from $4 to $6-7.
Even $8. Some of the filet mignon.
We haven't seen the prices for this year, so maybe it's gone up even more.
Higher. We'll see. And then the drinks are even more expensive.
Yeah.
They can go on up to 12 plus. And again, keep in mind these are sample sizes. These aren't full size drinks. So did you have any other general changes or?
Yeah. So just more of the data of numbers. To 31 different food items this year compared to last year, and it's kind of hard to say what's different or not. If what I did was if they just changed like one or two ingredients, I don't count that as a whole different dish. So I went through and looked like 31 totally different dishes. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
But here's the next number, which is mind-boggling: 94 different beverages. And that includes
that's a lot.
Non-alcoholic. But let's be honest, out of that 94, it's probably on a couple.
Right.
So it's mainly wines that changed out and some beers here and there. Yeah, so that's a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
So you want to jump in and start going
let's
through the booths?
dive in.
So I think we're going to go through and note the new items at each booth compared to last year. And then maybe say what we're looking forward to, our favorites or something.
Yeah, and we'll definitely mention if we've had it previously, and I'll put video footage up if I have it of that item too, so you can see what it looks like. Because usually when they bring something back, it's almost the same. Like he said, they might tweak one or two things about it, but it's very similar year to year. So we'll mention the items that we've had. Yeah. So shall we? Do you want to dive in? All right, the first booth, these are in alphabetical order, right? Yep. Is Active Eats. There's a loaded mac and cheese, spiced crust of Verlasso salmon, and this is a returning item, but it is a little different this year. That warm lentil salad is different than what they had previous years, and that's gluten-free, and I have had that, and it's very good. And you had that too, didn't you? The Verlasso salmon? I believe you had that at least once. But we both liked it, and for me, it's usually a repeat item because I really love it. And then Active Eats Energy Bar Bites, and that's the new item, and that's vegetarian.
So a new category that Disney is doing with this festival is called
Kid Approved.
Kid Approved, and they say it's dishes designed with kids in mind, but they've really just stamped like existing dishes that they had last year with that Kid Approved, which I thought was kind of funny.
But I think it's to give parents a guide that these are things that probably aren't too spicy and the kids would enjoy. And I think that's a great idea because some of these dishes are very spicy, like very spicy, that most kids probably wouldn't like.
Yeah, so I thought the new item here was kind of funny because to me it just sounds like they took an energy bar and chopped it up and say, here you go.
Yeah, well, it's probably sponsored by whoever the energy bars are. And we don't know that for sure. We're just joking around. But yeah, so on that list, I wasn't going to list off all the kid approved, but on that list, the mac and cheese and the energy bar are the kid approved.
I just thought it was interesting. A new category popped up. So I would imagine in the Passport, which is your little book that shows everything, all the menus will have that on there.
That's actually a good tip. When you arrive for the festival, if you're new to this festival, be sure you grab a Passport. They're free and they have them at pretty much every entrance to the park, and they also have them around World Showcase as well, and I think most of the booths, the kiosks have them too, and so it lets you keep track of what you've eaten. It shows you where things are. Also get a park map because they'll have the kiosks on the map, so definitely grab those things on your way in. It'll help you out. So still at Active Eats, the beverages are MIA Beer Company, hard water, pineapple, coconut, hard sparkling water. That's a mouthful. And that's new. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Do you?
So the wines, we're just gonna maybe they got a new wine there. It's a
Chenin Blanc, Old Vines, Columbia Valley.
Yeah.
And then that's new. An Evolution by Sokol Blosser Pinot Noir, and that's returning. Is that the last one of that?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So do you want to do the next one?
Yeah, so let's go to Africa. This is where we cue in the music.
The Tato song.
So returning, there's no new food items here, and they actually cut down the food items here. So there's only 2 here. Last year was 3, so we lost out on the spinach and paneer cheese pocket. They had that last year. They're not having it this year.
Wow.
I'm hoping it's a mistake. It's kind of weird to just have 2 items because most of the booths have 3
I
or 4.
wonder if it's an omission,
I don't know.
If they haven't decided what they're going to have for the third item.
Yeah, because I think I did have that cheese pocket, and I thought it was good.
Yeah, I think you did.
So they got the Berber-style beef tenderloin tips again, and the spicy Ethiopian red lentil stew, and that's vegetarian. The Berber-style beef tips are gluten-free.
Yes, and I have had them. They are very hot. I had them the first year they offered it, and I don't remember it being that hot. And then I had it, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, and it was on fire hot, like super hot. So now I'm a little hesitant to get it because it was too spicy for me.
For the life of me, I can't remember if I had the red lentil stew.
I don't think you did. I don't think you did.
And then beverages, there's one new, I guess that's a wine. It's kind of funny, it's the name of it, Groot Constania Pinotage.
Pinotage.
That type of wine, Pinotage. I'm not a wine drinker.
Neither of us are really.
And then another Chenin Blanc, a Shiraz. That's my.
Maybe I should do the wine.
Yeah, and of course you can get that in
a wine flight.
Yeah.
So on to the Almond Orchard, hosted by Blue Diamond Almond Breeze. And this booth was there last year, too.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It's nothing new here. It's all the same.
Yeah, it's all the same. So it's creamy spinach and artichoke dip with pulled chicken, fire-roasted tomato hummus, banana almond soft serve sundae with fresh berries and chocolate almond streusel. And that last item is vegetarian. None of this is marked gluten-free.
Yeah.
Actually, I should say Disney's definition is gluten-friendly, not gluten-free.
Right.
Because they don't want to certify.
Yeah.
Well, it is. You know, if you have a medical condition, then you don't want to take the chance. They say it's because of the potential for cross-contamination in these small kitchens. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If I say gluten-free again, I mean gluten-friendly by Disney's
And I don't think we hit
definition.
this booth last year, right?
No, we didn't. Well, there's really nothing here for us. There's nothing gluten-free.
It's like hummus.
And then
It's
hummus you can have at home every day. Like,
Right.
that's
It's
not
nothing
exotic.
special.
Yeah, right. So I don't think we hit this. And we're not dessert people. Beverages, again, everything's returning. They have an almond breeze strawberry smoothie that's non-alcoholic. They have a Brut champagne. Actually, they've got 3 Brut champagnes, 3 different varieties, and including one's Dom Perignon.
Yeah. I think last year it was like $30.
It was a lot.
Like $30 for like a tiny little flute.
It was a lot, yeah.
Like,
but
crazy.
it's a way to try it without
True.
buying a huge bottle, like if you've ever been curious.
True, yeah.
So.
All right, moving on to Australia. No new food items here. They had the grilled sweet and spicy bushberry shrimp, and we both had that. And it's a hit or miss on how spicy that shrimp is. Last year, I think I had it twice, right?
And it was too you said it was too spicy for me. He knows what I can tolerate.
Yeah, I
But
mean, it was fine for me, but yeah, I was like kind of shocked by the spice level. And the previous year, it was on point.
I can't remember if it was the previous year or 2 years ago, but the first time I tried it, it was fine. It wasn't overly high. It had a little spice, but not that spicy. But yeah, then it got really spicy. So I haven't had it in a while.
It's a good dish.
It is a really good dish.
I'll
And
get it
that's
again this year, I'm sure.
gluten friendly as well.
Yeah.
And then on to the next one.
Yeah, grilled lamb chop with pesto and a lamington cake. It's a dessert. And then beverages.
The grilled lamb chop I've had, and it's very good, but it's one of the more expensive dishes, at least in the past, and it's literally 1 or 2 bites. It's a tiny little lamb chop, and it has a pesto and crushed potato chips on it. That's the potato crunchies, and it's super good. Don't get me wrong, but it's literally 2-3 bites tops, and I wanted to say it was around $8 last year, so it's a pricey but good item, and it is gluten friendly as well, and of course the lamington cake is vegetarian.
Yeah. For beverages, returning again is the Cooper's Brewery Original Pale Ale. It's a good beer. It's light tasting. And then they got a wine flight here with, oh boy.
Do you want me to do the
wines? Yeah, you
wines?
gotta do the wines.
I actually am not even familiar with the type of that first one, the Hope Estate Semillion. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong, guys. Franklin Taste Estate Chardonnay. Another Shiraz, and like he said, you can get that in a flight.
Yeah. So move on to Belgium. Yep.
All right, no new food here. It's the beer braised beef, the Belgian waffle with warm chocolate ganache, and the Belgian waffle with berry compote. The last 2 are vegetarian, obviously, and I haven't had anything from this booth because none of it's gluten friendly.
Yeah,
I'm
just not into waffles.
Yeah, I don't think you've had anything here. And then, is that Lef or Leffe?
Yeah, so the beverages, finally, Belgium has mixed it up. Every year, it's been the same beers. And the Leffe Blonde, I think that's always been there, but they usually had, which they don't have this year, the Hoegaarden. And there was the other one I can't remember, it escapes me, but I just stopped being there.
Didn't they have Stella Artois, which, that's a common beer?
I think
that was there.
maybe that was the third one.
I think it was a Stella Artois cider. It wasn't even a beer.
So this year, they, like I said, they got the Leffe Blonde.
Oh, they do still have the Stella Artois.
Oh, yeah, there was right there. And so the new beers is by the brewery St. Bernardus, and they got a wit beer and a ABT 12. Is the name of the beers, and so that's included in flight, and definitely I'll be getting that flight to try out the new beers.
And then the Stella Artois hard cider, and then they have a chilled coffee featuring Godiva chocolate liqueur. So
sounds like super sweet.
Well, and if you like coffee, that sounds good.
Yeah,
that sounds like an interesting drink.
Okay, next up is Brazil. They have one new food item here, and this is actually one I'm looking forward to.
And this is what I'm sad about, and I'll tell you why in a minute.
It's a Brazilian seafood stew featuring scallops, shrimp, white fish with coconut lime sauce and steamed rice. That sounds pretty tasty. I'm not a big fan of rice, but the other items, oh yeah.
But unfortunately, it's not gluten-friendly, and it replaced a gluten-friendly item that I loved. It was the layered meat pie. And it was almost like a shepherd's pie, but it just had Brazilian flavors instead of the traditional, and it was so tasty. So I'm actually sad to see that go.
Yeah. So anyway, that seafood stew is a new item. Definitely looking forward to it. Two returning food items is the crispy pork belly, which is gluten-free, and the Brazilian cheesy bread. Actually, it's called just cheese bread. I call it cheesy bread.
He does call it cheesy bread.
You can get that bread pretty easily in your...
Well, we can here.
In your freezer section. They're called the brand's Chinis.
But it's usually at a more specialty store, not at Food Line or, not your standard grocery.
And that's gluten-free as well, and it's very tasty.
It really is good. We actually make it here at home because it's so good. And I have had the crispy pork belly, although it's been a few years. I've been told by people that I got a bad piece. It was texturally not appealing to me because it was very, very jiggly. I don't know. And then also I've had the cheese bread repeatedly, even though we do make it here at home. Theirs is made fresh, or seems fresh. It doesn't seem like it's made from frozen. And
right, because
really,
they're huge. Remember last year they were huge.
They're different looking, and so it's nice to get them fresh made. So I enjoy them.
That's an interesting point.
Do we mention those are both gluten-friendly?
Yeah.
And that used to be the nice thing about this booth. It used to be all gluten-friendly, and so if you were worried about cross-contamination, it was kind of nice because it was a gluten-friendly booth.
What you mentioned about getting a bad piece, I should point that out, is from even day to day at the festival, if you get something and you didn't really like it, and it's something you really wanted to like, and you go back the next day, go ahead and try it again, because from day to day we find the
quality does change.
It changes.
The other thing I'll mention though is if you know something was prepared incorrectly, I'm not saying you just don't like it because a matter of taste. I mean that something's wrong, like either it's raw or something's wrong with it. Do take it back. They will give you a refund or a replacement, and just politely ask and let them know what the issue was. We've done that more than once, and I didn't do that with the pork belly, but I've gotten something that was completely raw once and was able to exchange it no problem.
Yeah, and then beverages here, they have two new looks. Those are wines, right?
Yeah,
a Brut
Rosé.
Isn't that a champagne? A Brut, or is that a wine too?
A Brut Rosé, I don't know. We're not wine experts. We're sorry. We apologize to all the wine.
I'll see that Brut like in the cheap champagne section at the local grocery store.
That's right. And then it's wow, I've never heard of that before. Douro Red.
Douro, yes, Duoro, Douro Red. I don't know. Returning beers is the Barbarossa black beer, which I did not like.
No, you didn't.
Did not like that at all.
No, he did not.
Yeah, it's a super dark, heavy beer.
Caparina, doing the best I can there, and
didn't like that either.
I've gotten that every year, and it feels like it's totally different every year. Like meaning they change the recipe around. It's the same item, it's the same title, but it always tastes a little different from year to year. Yeah. I always get it once and I think, wow, this tastes great. And then about halfway through, it's too sweet for me because I don't like super sweet drinks. And so if you like sweet frozen drinks, this is a good recommendation. Yeah. And it has a unique flavor. It doesn't really taste like anything else I've had. On to the next one. Brewers Collection. Okay, actually, I'm going to pass this back to you.
Brewers Collection is actually a booth next to Germany. So they got the Germany
At least
booth.
Historically.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do it again. They got
I would think so.
The Germany booth and then the Brewers Collection. Sadly, it's all the same beers. So they got the Zwickel Pilsner, which is unfiltered, a Hefeweiss Naturtrüb, I don't know, and a Hefeweizen pomegranate beer, and of course they do a beer flight. I think last year they had a fourth beer that was not part of the beer flight. I can't remember, but it was unique. So I might check it out again to see if they have a special fourth beer. But out of these beers, probably skip it again.
Not your favorite. Yeah. All right, on to Canada. Canadian cheddar cheese and bacon soup with a pretzel roll. Both of these are returning, by the way. And the Le Cellier beef filet mignon with truffle butter sauce, which is gluten friendly. And I have had the second item, and it's outstanding. It's a repeat for me. It's what I'm looking forward to every year. We've never been to Le Cellier. He does not eat red meat. And yes, I know they have things for vegetarians and pescatarians, but it's just not high on our list to go to. So it's a nice treat for me to get to try it. Neither of us have had the cheddar cheese soup. It's highly popular, very popular item. But it has bacon in it, which he can't eat or doesn't eat, right. And then it's got gluten in it, which I can't have.
So the funny thing is that, because I had to go back and check last year's menu, is this year they actually specified that there's bacon in that soup.
And they didn't specify before.
Because we bought it.
We bought it last
year.
And no, it wasn't last year. It was 2 years ago.
Was it?
Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
And then I said, you know what? I think this has bacon in it. So I Googled it, and sure enough, it's bacon. So to the trash it went.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So it's interesting they say.
It's nice that they're explicitly stating it now. So on to the beverages. They have returning Moosehead Radler. It's a lager infused with grapefruit, grape, and lemon juices. Have you had that?
No, because I typically don't like those kind of
infused
beers.
Okay. And then they have two new, looks like wines. They've got a red blend. It's Chateau de Charmes, I guess. And then by the same company, they also
French, right? So is that Charmaine?
Let's just not even. Let's not slaughter the French language. Sorry about that. And the next one is by the same company. It's a Vidal ice wine, and those ice wines are really popular.
So they must have changed out the ice wine from
because
last
this
year.
is new,
But
people really seem to enjoy the ice wine.
Maybe I should try one this year. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Well, I usually if I'm going to do the wines, I usually like to do that cheese. There's a booth that has a combination of 3 cheeses and 3 wines.
Yeah.
That about does it for me. All right, next up, Cheese Studio. Well, this could be it. I don't know. So the Cheese Studio has one new food item, which looks like a dessert. So all the other items are returning, which is braised beef stroganoff, cheese trio, which is it's their brand of cheese that sponsors this booth. It's Borzen
garlic.
Yeah, so the same cheese as from last year, and actually I think this is the one I tried, and I was like, oh, this
You did not like it.
Kind of odd.
You didn't like it.
I didn't like that at all. And the new dessert, maple bourbon Borzen cheesecake with maple bourbon cream.
So that's the new dessert, and the dessert is vegetarian. It's interesting that the cheese trio is not marked vegetarian.
Yeah, because
it's because it has the smoked salmon, which you can eat. That's why it's got smoked salmon on it. That's why. And I haven't had anything here because none of it is gluten friendly, so I haven't tried anything here. So
all the beverages are new. They're all wines, of course, because of the cheese. Let's see, they got a sparkling blueberry wine. Sounds interesting. Mm-hmm. A Pinot
Gris.
Mm-hmm. And not gonna do that third one. Some kind of rosé. And
a Malbec.
One. So that's a type of wine, Malbec.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm learning all kinds of stuff here.
And I'm actually not a wine drinker, but I hear it, around from other people a little bit. But so we'll apologize once again for our wine knowledge. So on to China?
Yeah.
All right. The first item is new. It's a pancake with beef. And the second item is also new. It's chicken dumplings with Chinese slaw. And then they have 2 returning items, the Beijing roasted duck bao bun with hoisin sauce and black pepper shrimp with garlic noodles.
I do like those garlic shrimp.
Yeah.
I think I had that twice at least last year, maybe more.
Yeah, you do like those. Yeah. And they look really good. Yeah. They definitely do. Beverages, now this is, I will say, we were talking about what we're looking forward to. This is one of my favorite booths for beverages because they have the Kung Fu Punch, which comes back every festival. And it's, to me, the perfect balance of sweet but not too sweet and really just a super refreshing in the Florida heat. So that's going to be my little recommendation.
But one of the drinks is not coming back.
Yeah, I see that. But more about the Kung Fu Punch. The other thing about China that's great is they actually give you a pretty decent sized cup for the drinks.
They do.
Some of the cups at some of the booths are tiny for the mixed drinks. and they're like $10.50. And then the ones in China are about 8 ounces, I would guess.
No, I think cups. The other ones served are 8 ounces, and these are more like 12.
No, not the mixed drinks. Are not 8 ounces. They're tiny. They're really tiny. They're like
the size of the beers, I guess, which is
no, they're smaller than the beers.
Oh.
They're seriously tiny. The mixed drinks are in super small cups at some of the booths, but in China, I think they're around 8 ounces, and also they're cheaper. Like most of the drinks run about $10.50, and in China they usually run 8 to 9, somewhere in that range. So a better value. I don't know if it's called a good value, but it's a better value for the festival.
Yeah, let's be honest, nothing is a good value at Disney.
And so the one he mentioned that's not returning is no Ritzy Lychee. So, I mean, I was kind of indifferent to that. It wasn't my favorite.
Well, it's not
drink.
a super sweet drink, which
No, it wasn't.
Which I like, you know.
Yeah. So I'm gonna mention the 2 new drinks first. There's a Jasmine draft beer and a honeydew cocktail. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll try to pronounce the Chinese part. The returning drinks are mango bubble tea, Happy Peach, which we've both had that before. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it is.
But it's good. It's a good drink. The Kung Fu Punch, which I already mentioned, and the Baijiu Punch, which again has that Baijiu spirit that I mentioned in it.
All right, next up, Chocolate Studio. We never.
This actually has one of my favorite desserts.
Oh, that's right. This is the
Nitro.
So there's 2. I was about to say we never hit this, but yeah, now I see this. Yes, we did hit this several times. I never did get anything.
Well, they
from there.
move where that exists around. They move this dessert around.
You're right.
It's not always at the same booth.
Yeah. So they only got 2 items here. They're both returning. They got the liquid nitro chocolate almond truffle.
So good.
Yeah, I did have a bite of that.
And you liked it too.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's really good.
And sweet dark chocolate raspberry tart. So the liquid nitro chocolate almond truffle, that is gluten free. Do you want to describe it a little?
Yeah, gluten friendly. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I keep saying gluten free.
So it's really interesting. When you hear truffle, I think of a little piece of candy, truffle. This is quite different. It's a good size portion, and it almost looks like ice cream because they freeze it with the liquid nitrogen, and it's cold, and it has a caramel sauce on top. It is so good. I love it, and I'm not a big dessert sweet person. Love it.
Yeah, I liked it too, the bite I did have.
It's really tasty.
So the beverages here, there's 3 new items. It's a Twinings pumpkin spice.
Chai tea. I don't know, but it's chai.
Chai tea and chocolate shake, so it's a shake.
And it's non-alcoholic.
Yeah. And a Twinings so they got the same thing with some vodka
with some alcohol.
And then a port here. It's a Croft Tenure Tawny, and I had to look that up. Yeah, it's port wine, so that's kind of interesting.
Wow, interesting.
And port's like a heavy red wine. Is that what that is? Okay.
Typically.
And the 2 returning ones from last year, they got a sparkling red and a cab.
Yeah, Cabernet Sauvignon.
I guess it makes sense. Yeah, the dark reds go with the chocolate, right?
Chocolate, absolutely.
Nailed it.
Are you feeling special right now? And then on to Coastal Eats.
Yep.
Should we move on? All right. Coastal Eats has all returning food items. They have a lump crab cake with a Napa. Let me try that again. A Napa cabbage slaw, and they have baked shrimp scampi dip. And didn't you get that last year?
I've had, I think, all these items.
And then they have
seafood, of course.
Seared scallops with roasted corn, butterbean succotash, and a sauce. And one thing I wanted to mention also, I usually do not bother asking if things can be made gluten-free, but a lot of times they can if they leave a sauce off.
Gluten-friendly.
Gluten-friendly, thank you. But that last item, I think, is probably one of those items that if they left that sauce off. And so this year, since they've cut the number of gluten-friendly items down so far, I plan to ask. I did that at Flower and Garden this year and had excellent results. They just quickly call a chef on a phone or a walkie-talkie.
It's a phone they have right there at register.
Yep, and they get an answer pretty much within 5 minutes. It was fast. So I plan to do that this time for sure.
So I remember there's 2 booths again this year and last year that had scallops, and one of them was really good, and the other one was just like, okay. I can't remember which one I really liked
So I guess you'll be trying it and finding out.
Yeah, I'll be doing it again. So I'm looking forward to all three of these items, actually.
So you liked all of them when you tried them in the past?
Right. It's just, I can't remember which was the better scallop dish, but yeah, it's all good.
On to beverages. These are both new this year. There's A to Z Wineworks Pinot Gris and Rocco Gravel Road Pinot Noir. So 2 new wines.
All right, moving on to craft drafts, which I can't remember. Is that the same name last year? I guess so.
I don't think that was the same name. I don't. Well, we never know what to call that place. We always realize like if it's a craft beer
little
center.
Weird building. Where's it located?
That's the Odyssey Building.
Oh, okay. So it's if you're walking out of Epcot, right? It's the one on the right, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's the building that's somewhere between basically Test Track and World Showcase.
Yeah. So interesting enough, this year, no food. I don't know, it's kind of weird.
That is odd.
So it's all beers and that's it.
Because they used to always at least have snacky food that would go with beer,
So like last year, they don't have this year, they had the Scottish egg, a cheeseburger, and cheddar cheese macaroni sandwich. I don't know, sounds tasty.
People said it was good, I remember people talking about
but this one, cotton candy mixture. So it's kind of, I guess that's for the kids. While you're sitting there throwing back the beers. But anyway, so no food this year, so it's all beers, and they switched them all out except for one. So they got 2 beer flights here, and a beer flight, sadly now it's just, they've been doing this for several years, it's just 3 beers each. It used to be 4, but now it's just 3.
Well, and a couple of quick things about the beer flights too. Like you said, they're down to 3, and also, unless they change this year, the beer flights are 4-ounce servings. Mm-hmm. They could change that this year. It might be 3 ounces this year. We don't know because we haven't been yet. But as of last year, there were 4-ounce servings, and they also have single servings of beers. Any of these beer flights, you can get a single beer, and I believe those are 9-ounce servings. And so
I thought that was 6.
I believe it's 9. But I could be wrong. And like we said, it could change this year. But they do have the single serving option. So if you know you don't want the whole flight, you can get one.
Yeah. So these are all Florida beers. The first one that they have here is a Central 28 beer company, Waffle. A roasted red ale, and then returning beer is the triple chocolate milk stout, which I don't like.
That's by Florida Beer Company.
And then the second flight has the lemongrass saison, a melon kolsch, and a monkey fist IPA.
Monkey fist.
Yeah, so definitely I'll be trying both flights. Yeah, last year we kept going back, and I would like one flight and just keep ordering that.
Oh, and that's another thing we should mention. If you get a flight one day and you know you like everything but one beer, when you go back again, they'll let you substitute that one beer for 2 of one of the other beers. Yeah. So that's another thing to keep in mind if you find one that you just really don't like.
So this place is indoors. It's AC,
air conditioning.
And
even though I can't drink beer, I love going in there because it's kind of peaceful too. It's kind of got a nice atmosphere.
It'll be interesting to see what they're doing this year inside there, because in the previous festival, since they're working on the Wonders of Life Pavilion, they were using that as a festival center as well. They were selling merch in there.
Well, they were doing that even when the festival center was open too. They usually have. Well, it's a smaller subset of merchandise. Yeah. And also, they remodeled it for Epcot's 35th, and they put a big Epcot's 35th display in there. So it will be interesting to see what they have this time. I'm curious to see. So on to Earth Eats.
Earth Eats.
And it's no longer sponsored by the Chew, and we all know why, because the Chew got canceled. So if you're a Chew fan, sorry about that. It's no longer sponsored by the Chew. Everything is new. All the food, all the drinks.
Well, I guess they said it was... We can't use the same items from last year because Chew has, I guess, I don't know.
Well, they said the Chew chefs had come up with those recipes. So, the Steakhouse Blended Burger is the first item. And then, this is kind of cool for Brian, they've got the Impossible Burger Slider. So, that's a vegan burger. It has a wasabi cream and spicy Asian slaw on a sesame seed bun. So, even though the burger is vegan, you need to make sure that cream is vegan also, because they mark things vegetarian, but they don't specify that they're vegan. And also, I'll give a little plug here for our friends at Vegan Disney World. They're awesome. We've got them, awesome people, awesome information. Go check them out. I'll put a link to them in our show notes below. They will be telling you what's good and what's not for vegans.
So I'll try. I'm looking forward to the Impossible Burger here. I'll try it. Why not? I've tried the other brand, Beyond Burger. I think that's what it's called, right? Beyond Burger.
Beyond Meat, I think, is the company or something like that.
Yeah, and that was that was good. Yeah, it was really good.
So moving on to the beverages, they've got
it's a kombucha.
Don't. It's kombucha.
Oh, is it kombucha? I looked at it. What's a kombucha?
Just don't. These are all, I believe, a brand called Health Aid, because it says that at the beginning of each one. There's a kombucha pink lady apple, a pomegranate, and a beet lime. So 3 different flavors. And then you can also get a kombucha flight.
Is that like a smoothie?
No. It's a fermented beverage that has probiotics in it naturally. Like, it's naturally fermented, but it's not alcoholic. This is a non-alcoholic. A lot of people who are health oriented are very into drinking kombucha. I've had it before. It's tasty. It's kind of on the sweet side for my taste, but it's good.
All right, so next up is, I don't know if this is new or this is what I'm calling what was last year at Intermissions Cafe.
Let me make a comment. Before, I don't think they had this many wines.
No, they did not.
It's exploded with the number of wines.
So the menu has really, it went
expanded.
Crazy.
So that may be why they're considering it new, because before they just had a few drinks. Now it's a huge list of drinks.
Yeah, so this is the Festival Center Wine Shop.
And actually, I'm going to take this one from you since it's wine.
Yeah, because there's
not
actually,
that I'm really good at it either.
There's 3 wine flights here.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's more than the
so
beer.
You can really
beer
hang out here and have a good time.
Yeah. So, and again, this is one of our favorite places to get out of the heat, the Florida heat, because if you go during the early part of this food festival, it's brutally hot. Yeah. So it's really nice to duck into the AC.
So the Festival Center is a good place to find all the greatest merch.
And that's usually
annual pass holder.
I was going to say usually, but sometimes they have that other places. They like to play hide and seek with the pass holder merchandise, but they definitely have a large selection of festival merchandise there. Again, in the AC.
Seminars are held here.
Yep.
The Godiva chocolate thing, don't they do?
I think it's Ghirardelli.
Oh.
I think that's Ghirardelli, but
right,
I could be wrong.
No, you're right.
And they usually have these cool chocolate sculptures. I mean, really detailed. I don't know if they'll have that this year. We don't know.
So this place is kind of off the beaten path, but I would recommend make a point to go into it.
It's
check it out.
near the old Universe of Energy location, which is now going to be the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster, and so it's sort of between that and Test Track. So if you're looking for where it's located. So the first thing, now these are some of the items I'm actually going to inquire if they're gluten-friendly. They are not marked as such, but there's a charcuterie plate, and it's basically meats and accompaniments. Unless there's crackers on it, which they could possibly leave off, then I should be able to eat that. And then there is a cheese plate, and I'm not going to read all the cheeses, but by the way, if you want to read all the details, those are on the Disney website. You just go to, you can Google Disney World Epcot Food and Wine Menu 2018, and you'll get lots of hits on the details. Bloody Mary seafood cocktail has shrimp, bay scallops, mussels, olive salad, and crisp lettuce in a Bloody Mary vinaigrette. That sounds interesting.
Going to try that. So I'm actually looking forward to trying the cheese plate here.
And actually, unless these have bread on them, all of those would...
Yeah, nothing's marked gluten-friendly
They're
here,
not,
which is kind of
but
odd.
I'm definitely going to ask about that.
So I'm going to definitely try the seafood cocktail and the cheese plate.
Yeah, and if I find out they can be made gluten-friendly, I'll try probably all of them. They all sound good. So on to the wines. Again, apologies in advance. So there is a white flight, a Pinot Noir flight, and a red flight. Those are the 3 flights that Brian mentioned. There's a Fess Parker Riesling, McMurray Estate Vineyards Pinot Gris, Silverado Vineyards Sauvignon Blanc, Silverado Vineyards Chardonnay, Kurt Russell's Goji Wines Goldie Chardonnay, and they had that, I think, over at the Wine and Dine studio. I specifically remember that because of the name.
Well, the Kurt Russell, you know.
Right, but I mean, they had that exact wine, so even though it's new at this location, that's not new to the festival. McMurray Estate Vineyards Pinot Noir, Kurt Russell's Goji Wines Birdie Pinot Noir, Skywalker Vineyards Samana Pinot Noir, Silverado Vineyards Fantasia Sangiovese, I'm not sure, sorry about that, blend, Chapelette Mountain Suvie Bordeaux blend, I guess. Sorry, I'm probably killing some of these. Fest Parker Rodney's Vineyard Syrah, Frank Family Vineyards Cabernet Sauvignon, and then, like we mentioned, there's the 3 flights.
Interesting thing is they're not serving the festival, or what's it called?
It was festival wine. They used to
wine.
have both a Chardonnay and I believe it was a Cabernet Sauvignon, and they were made exclusively for the festival, and you could buy bottles at the festival
Bottles
center,
and get a sample.
or you could buy a sample of it. And Brian tried it one year and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it really did. So we're wondering if maybe they discontinued. I don't know. We'll find out when we get there. So moving on to flavors from Fire. Here there's only one new item, which is a charred chimichurri skirt steak, and nothing here is gluten friendly.
At least not labeled as such. I will find out.
Yeah, it's probably, well, I guess the corn cake. It comes with a corn cake, so
that could be. It could have flour in it.
So returning items: piggy wings, smoked corned beef. Oh, that comes with a beer fondue, and a chocolate picante. So isn't picante like?
It's
salsa?
spicy. Yeah, it's got cayenne pepper and chili powder. It's going to be a spicy chocolate. Okay. And traditionally, that's how chocolate was served originally, was with hot spice. So that's interesting. And I don't think either of us have had anything from here because it's not vegetarian friendly. And last year also they didn't have any gluten friendly dishes.
And then the beverages, it's all the same stuff. You got a Blackwater Porter. I can't remember if I tried that or not.
I think you did.
Okay. Probably didn't like it then, if I don't remember. I guess that's a wine. And
it's a 7 Deadly Zins Zinfandel.
And then there's swine brine featuring Jim Beam bourbon.
No.
And I think didn't that have like some pork chop in it or something like that?
It had something. I can't remember exactly, but no.
I think people actually liked it, but it just looks really odd.
Yeah, that's got Jim Beam bourbon in it, if you're curious. On to France? Yeah. All right. So everything here is returning, but we lost an item. There were 4 items last year, and now there are 3. It was the warm goat cheese pudding with spinach, which was gluten-friendly and was pretty tasty. I had it twice last year, so I'm sad to see that go.
Yeah.
The returning items are the escargot croissant, which Brian likes, the beer braised beef with bacon, and also a cream brulee with house-made raspberry jam. And you know what's interesting about that is I don't remember having that, but yet it's not marked new. I don't remember seeing that before. So I don't know.
Maybe I made a mistake.
No, you probably didn't. Maybe I just never tried it because that is gluten-friendly. The dessert is. That's the only gluten-friendly item, and it's also the only vegetarian item. Beverages are the La Passion Martini Slush, and this is probably my second favorite cocktail.
Is that the orange drink? Yeah.
Well, no, it's not orange.
Oh.
The orange one's always there.
Oh, okay.
That's a standard.
Right.
You can always go to a kiosk in
I
France.
just remember every time we hit that France area, you all see people walk around this orange drinks.
Yeah, and so this is really tasty. I definitely have had that before, and there's a new Chardonnay, Le Vieux Manoir. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. And a Cabernet Sauvignon Bordeaux. I guess that's a blend since it lists both. And the 2 more returning items are Saint Germain Sparkling Cure and Kronenberg Blanc.
So I'm looking forward to my Snills.
He really enjoys that. On to Germany. So it's interesting because of what Brian mentioned earlier about the Brewers Collection. Germany has wines instead of beers, which is interesting, but we've actually spent time in Germany and they have some amazing wines there.
Yeah, well, they got one beer there. It's the same beer they sell right next door there.
At the Brewers Collection. So for the Germany kiosk, all the food is returning. They have a pasta gratin with ham, onions, and cheese. They have a roast bratwurst and a pretzel roll. And they have an apple strudel with vanilla sauce. I've had none of these. They're not gluten-friendly. What about you?
I don't think so.
Nothing either. Yeah. I know our friend Alana got the pretzel roll, but I don't know if... Was it roast? I guess it was roast bratwurst because it says it's returning. I know she got that last year, and I think she liked it, so Beverages. There are several new items. I'm going to talk about the returning item first. There's only one. It's the Radaburger Pilsner.
Zwickel Pilsner, which is the same one they sell right next
door.
door.
At the Brewers Collection. So all the wines are new. They've got a Riesling flight. So these are all Rieslings. And if you don't know, Rieslings tend to be sweet, but they're not always. Sometimes they're not. But they usually are on the sweet side. They're a white wine. So they've got a Karl Graf Bracher, I can't say all these German words, but it's a Riesling Spotless, and a J&H Selbach. I can't do all these German words, sorry. You can look this up online. Riesling Cabinet, and they've got a Selbach Oster Zettlinger, and that's a Riesling Cabinet. How do you say that? Brocken.
So it's all new Rieslings, and you get it in flight.
How's that? Yep. Thank you, Brian.
They have they added a wine, which is a Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir. Noir.
Is that a white?
That's a red.
Oh, it's a red. Okay.
That's a dark red. It's very good. That used to be, when I used to drink more wine, that was one of my favorites, was a Pinot Noir.
All right, moving on to Greece. One new item here, it's actually called the same thing from last year, but it's all different stuff inside of it. It's the Taste of Greece. So it has chicken, what's that?
Souvlaki.
Feta cheese dip with warm pita, and a lamb sausage with a dill tomato ragu.
Sounds pretty tasty.
And nothing here is gluten friendly.
No,
unfortunately.
Greece never is for some reason.
Yeah. The returning items, one I'm looking forward to, the loaded Greek nachos. This was like really good. So this has like vegetarian meat crumbles on it.
And this actually is vegan because they explicitly say so in the title.
Yeah.
This is the one you can trust. This vegan.
And then spanakopita. Man. Opa. Whatever. And then the dessert, warm phyllo. Is that phyllo?
Yeah, phyllo dough.
Phyllo dough. Strudel. And then beverages, it's a wine flight. It's all the same wines. I'll let you take that.
I don't know how to say these either. Let's just say there's a great wine list online if you want to look up the food menu. Because I can't even tell you if these are white or... Well, that says red blend. But yeah. Just please look them up online because we do not speak Greek.
So unfortunately, nothing that you can get here, but I'll be getting the Greek nachos again. I think last year I had at least twice, I think.
And you never get the spanakopita, but no. I love that back when I could eat that kind of thing.
It's in your freezer section at the grocery store.
That's a good point. That is a good point. All right, on to Hawaii. There's a Kahlua pork... Oh, and by the way, all these foods are returning. There's a Kahlua pork slider with sweet and sour Dole pineapple chutney. Obviously, for obvious reasons, we have not had that, but it's very popular. I know that's a sort of a fan favorite of people. Grilled tuna tataki with seaweed salad. You had that, right?
I think so. I must have.
I don't think you liked it.
Yeah,
and you usually do, like, any seafood, but I don't remember you really enjoying that. Teriyaki glazed Spam hash with potatoes. And passion fruit cheesecake with toasted macadamia nuts. The only vegetarian dish is the dessert, the passion fruit cake, right? And nothing is gluten-friendly, and Hawaii never is gluten-friendly for some reason. The beverages are all returning as well. There's a Maui Brewing Company Bikini Blonde Lager, Florida Orange Grove Sparkling Pineapple Wine, and a Mai Tai with Sailor Jerry Spiced Rum and Dole Pineapple Juice.
The Mai Tai, I will note, they did change out the rum. So last year it was it Sammy Hagar?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think, he does the rum, right?
I know he does a tequila. I don't know about rum.
Oh, maybe I'm totally wrong about that. It was definitely a different rum, and now they're using that spice rum. I really don't like spice rum. No. Yeah. So going on to hops and barley. So
wait, what about that? Haven't you had that Bikini Blonde Lager?
Yeah.
It's just all right?
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, it's a kind of light tasting beer. Moving on to hops and barley. This is in America section, right? Mm-hmm. Remember. So one new item, which is the new Brunswick slider, which is slow braised beef brisket, pot roast style, with horseradish cream, crispy fried onions, on potato roll with pickled vegetables on the side. Sounds tasty.
Yeah, it does sound good.
Sounds like a lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah.
Nothing here is gluten friendly. Nope. I wonder if you can get that without the bun.
Possibly. That's always an option. to ask.
So the returning items are the New England lobster roll,
Which Brian loves.
Gonna get it again.
Yep.
Definitely looking forward to that.
That's one of the pricier items too.
Yeah. And a carrot cake.
Yep.
Probably won't get that. I love carrot cake, but
Well, you can get that here at home.
Yeah.
We always try to pick things that are harder to get here.
So for the beverages, it's
A lot of new
mainly
stuff.
a lot of new stuff. So for the beers, North Coast Brewing Company Blue Star Wheat. That's from California. I was wondering if they're all from Florida, but no, they're not. The next one is from Florida. Three Daughters Brewing A Wake. It's A space Wake Coffee Blondale. I really don't like the coffee beers,
No, you don't.
but I'll try it. Why
And he
not?
doesn't like coffee, by the way, just
Yeah, I'm not a
for
coffee
frame
drinker.
of reference.
Heavy Seas Americanan APA. I wonder what an APA is. I don't know.
We'll have to Google that.
Yeah, so that's from Baltimore. And then the hard cider, Angry Orchard, Orchard, Rosé hard cider. Yeah, and then a couple of wines.
Right, a Chardonnay, a Cabernet Sauvignon, and the Cabernet's new. It's a broadside Cabernet Sauvignon. On to the next.
So they do have a beer flight there, not that. Yeah, they
Oh,
also, I
that's
think
interesting.
they've
Do they have
always
a
had.
wine flight?
No, it's only two.
Oh, there's only two.
But they've always had a beer flight there. Previous years, it had. Sometimes they have a beer with bacon in it. It's like, nope.
Yeah, no, for
Nope.
him. All right, India food. It's all returning from last year. And wasn't this booth, at least from the time we've been going to the food festival, this booth was new to us last year. I'm not saying they never had it in the history of the food
Right,
festival, but
yeah.
I think that was the first year it was there for us. So India, they have warm Indian bread with pickled garlic, mango salsa, and coriander pesto dips. And that's vegetarian. They have Madras red curry with roasted cauliflower, baby carrots, chickpeas, and basmati rice. That's vegetarian and it's gluten friendly.
I gotta try that this year. I don't think I ever tried it.
I had it last year and it was too hot for me.
Yeah, so
For-
I definitely
for me.
need to make a point to try that this year.
Yeah, you would love it. You would love it because you like Indian and you like hot, so you would like that. Korma chicken with cucumber tomato salad, almonds, cashews, and warm naan bread. And then for the beverages, everything is the same except for one item, which is a Godfather lager.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't know India was so into Godfather.
And then they have a mango lassi, which is non-alcoholic. They have a Sula Chenin Blanc, a Sula Shiraz, and a mango lassi with Samras Indian cream liqueur.
So that's the theme. If there's a non-alcoholic drink that they serve there,
They add
you
some
can count on
liquor
they'll throw
later.
a shot
Yeah.
to
Yep.
make it alcoholic.
Yep.
Moving on to Ireland. It's all the same food items here. They got the roasted Irish sausage, a warm Irish cheddar cheese and stout dip. Oh, I think I did have that, right?
Yeah, and you actually didn't like it that much.
Yeah, because I think the dip was watery or something.
It was watery and it was brown, which I guess is
Yeah.
from the stout, but I mean, you just said it wasn't very good.
Yeah, and a warm chocolate pudding with Irish cream liqueur custard. Sounds kind of tasty. For beverages, they have two new beverages: a Guinness Foreign Extra Stout. Not sure what that is. Over regular Guinness, but I'll probably try that. And a Guinness Bailey Shake. I don't know about that.
That would probably be good.
And returning is a Bunratty Mead Honey Wine.
Interesting. All right, on to Islands of the Caribbean. Ripa Vieja Empanada. I wish I could eat that. That's not gluten friendly, but I love Ripa Vieja. That's very good. Jerk spiced chicken lollipop with roasted sweet plantain salad and mango chutney. And by the way, I should mention those first two are new this year. And then a puff pastry with sweetened cream cheese and guava sauce, and that's vegetarian. Nothing here is marked gluten friendly, sadly. Beverages, Red Stripe Lager, that's new this year, and that's a very common beer in Jamaica.
Come on,
very
Red Stripe.
common. Caribbean White Sangria and Frozen Mojito, which are both returning. And I've had the Frozen Mojito, and it was good. It tastes like a mojito frozen. I mean, it wasn't bad.
All right, moving on to Italy. Three new items here, but one of them is interesting, a carryover from the Flower and Garden Festival from this year,
That is interesting.
which is the first one, the Fritto Misto. And I actually like this. So this is the crispy shrimp, zucchini, sweet potatoes, the spicy sauce. And I
You did like
Did I
that.
get that twice, maybe?
I can't
remember,
remember.
but
No,
it's
you
really-
tried to get it once,
yeah, that's
and they
right.
were sold out. They were actually sold out of it. And so you went back another day and you finally got it.
I liked it. It's really good. And then the other two dishes that are new is a braised chicken thigh with mushroom tomatoes and Parmesan polenta. And the third item is a rigatoni, vodka sauce, crispy pancetta.
Mm-hmm.
Nailed it. And Parmesan cheese. Nothing here is gluten friendly, right?
No.
And the fourth item, which is returning, is just a cannoli. The beverages, all the same. I don't like the beers here, which is they got all the Moretti beers here.
Yep.
I think I did try the flight. I do remember trying to fly. I was like, don't like it. And then they have a bunch of wines, which is Pinots, Prosecco. That's a wine, right?
Yeah. Chianti, Spumante Dolce.
Oh, they have the Italian
Moscato.
Margarita here, right?
They have a Moscato here. And then, I do like, now this is an interesting thing, and I can give you a tip too. Frozen margarita with limoncello and tequila. This is actually quite tasty. If you like limoncello, it's definitely got that limoncello flavor to it. But I found out from a friend of ours that they sell this all the time, sort of across the way where they sell the gelato. Now
I can picture it.
I haven't confirmed that personally. I haven't gone there to check that it's there, but he told me they definitely have this year round. So I'm gonna definitely check that out because it's a tasty drink. It's definitely good. On to Japan?
Yeah.
All right. Teriyaki. Oh, and these are all new.
Yeah,
Teriyaki,
Japan has it going on. Everything is new. They changed out the entire menu.
Beverages, food, all of it. Teriyaki chicken bun. Beef nigiri topped with shrimp sauce and diced pickled jalapenos, and that is gluten-friendly. Spicy roll, tuna, and salmon topped with volcano sauce.
Definitely looking forward to that.
And then for drinks, they've got a Kirin lager, Ozeki Ra sake, and a Fuji apple cocktail with sake, peach schnapps, and green apple syrup.
I might try those last two drinks.
Interesting.
I like the sake, and the cocktail sounds interesting too.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
I agree.
Spicy roll. So are you going to try the beef?
Most likely. I'm actually going to see how well cooked it is. I actually prefer my beef medium rare, which is pretty rare, but I don't want it completely raw. And traditionally, beef nigiri is barely seared and mostly raw on the inside. So, like, for example, if the beef is purple, I don't want it that raw. So I'm going to kind of go look and see what it looks like coming out before I order it. But if it's cooked at least to, say, medium rare, which I would think for safety reasons they probably would, then I'll definitely try that for sure.
But anyway, kudos to Japan for totally changing the menu, everything.
Absolutely.
That's awesome to see. So next up, Sleight Lab. That was a new booth or new section. I don't really call it a booth because it's a whole area, right?
And it's broken into two interesting parts if they do it the same this year.
Yeah, so that was new last year, right?
Right.
I think. So it's returning this year. So the food items, I'm kind of, I really don't understand what's going on here because the names,
Mm-hmm.
it was all.
Yeah, there's no way to tell what it is.
Yeah, I think it was all like candy and sweet type of stuff, right?
It mostly was, and it seemed very geared towards children. So the way this worked is you went into a room in one of the old Innovations buildings, and we don't know if it'll be in the same place or anything this year, but you went in and it was all neon and dark lights. Like it's really kind of cool looking.
Yeah.
And then the way they made the food, they had all these chemistry sets with test tubes and stuff. So it was pretty cool, and I think kids would find that awesome. I think this is a great kid-friendly area, and I think it's awesome they're adding things to the food festival that are kid-friendly because I think children could get very bored, if their parents are going around. So it's really nice they're including them. And it was a neat area. It was pretty cool, but we were confused because we went in there. Brian thought he was going to get a drink, and it was all the candy food. And then the drinks were outside in a totally different area, and so that was
kind of like right outside to the side. We just didn't really notice.
We didn't see it, and we saw the big sign for a Light Lab, so we thought we had to go in there.
And one time we came across it, and it was a
huge
long line. We're like,
to get in.
Must be some good beer in there or something.
And the beer wasn't even in there. So we don't know if it'll be the same this year, but that's just a tip that it might be in two separate locations.
Yeah. So for the beers, which is, who knows if it's going to be set the same way, which is outside, not outside, but outside of the Light Lab.
It's still in Innovations, just outside that room.
So there's two flights. It's interesting enough, they got a cider flight and a RGB flight. I'm not sure what the RGB means. If they're talking about computers, like red, green, blue, I don't know.
I'm guessing also, I think it is red, green, blue, because this one's called blue spectrum, and that's called ultraviolet, and that's called infrared. But Also with the cider, I think the reason that they added that here is because that used to be in Scotland, which they did away with that kiosk. There was a cider flight in Scotland.
Yeah, there was.
And so I think that's why they moved that here.
So for the beers / cider, they have Original Sin Dry Rosé Hard Cider. That's from New York. Three Daughters Brewing Company Blueberry Peppercorn Hard Cider. I don't know about peppercorn cider.
That could actually be good.
I'll try it. I'll definitely try both flights. I mean, I'm open to that. Next one, Cider Boys Zen Berry Hard Cider. And then for the beers, they got the Playland Brewing Company Red Cherry Tart. I don't know if that's going to be a sour one. Probably not. Next one, Grasslands Brewing Company Green Kiwi Blonde. And MI Beer Company Blueberry Golden Ale. Yeah, I'll try both those flights.
And so the items he didn't mention are the food items because we don't know what those are. There's a phosphorescent freeze, an infrared, and an ultraviolet, but those are all marked kid friendly, so we're assuming they're dessert-ish. Yeah. And last time they were really cool. They would put things in a test tube and they kind of react and change color and stuff. So I think that's what they go for here. So it's a pretty neat thing to watch.
It's actually they put on a little show. I mean, how they prepare it and stuff. So I think that is for the kids.
And they have a returning item, Blue Spectrum Blanc de Bleu with boba pearls. So that's I don't remember that from last year, but that's a returning. On to Mexico.
Let's do it.
All right, everything is new in Mexico as well, so kudos to Mexico also.
All new food, all new beverages. Yep. Yeah, awesome.
There's a short rib tostada, and what's interesting is they had something very similar to that, so I'm curious how different that really is, but we'll see. They've got a shrimp quesadilla and a coconut rice pudding served with mango coulis, and the last one is gluten-friendly and vegetarian. The other ones obviously are not for various reasons.
I'm looking forward to the shrimp quesadilla because typically Mexico for me is always a skip. It's always a meat fest for whatever reason. But shrimp quesadilla, oh yeah, down for that.
And I'm going to inquire about the short rib tostada because the version they had last year, which was different, was gluten friendly, and I also don't see anything there that should have gluten. So I'm definitely going to check into that. But it could be there could be flour in the tortilla, even though it's called a corn tortilla. On to beverages. There's a Dos Equis.
It's actually the funny name they give this first beverage. Cerveza, por favor. Beer, please.
Beer, please. And what's interesting, though, is it says with a hint of almond.
Yeah, so it's a Dos Equis with almond.
With a hint of almond.
Oh, okay.
And then a margarita with Lubuelo Tequila Joven, mango puree and chamoy, and a smoky margarita with Gracias a Dios Mezcal, lime juice, and Anjo Reyes chili liqueur. That's interesting. That would be a no for me.
Yeah, I don't like spicy drinks.
I don't like smoky mezcal. Those of you who know me know I like tequila, but smoky mezcal is not my favorite. Red wine sangria mixed with fruit juice, and blackberry Mexican punch with Velo Blanco tequila.
I'll definitely try that one. That sounds tasty.
I would definitely try that one too, and that's my favorite tequila is Blanco.
Yeah. So next booth, Morocco, all the same food items here. The first one is a kefta pocket with seasoned ground beef and a pita. The hummus fries, which
you do like those.
I do like those, and I am looking forward to that again. It's cucumber, tomato, onions, and tzatziki sauce. And then dessert, chocolate baklava. Nothing here is gluten friendly.
Nope, never is. Morocco's never gluten friendly. I mean, I'm talking about the kiosk.
Beverages, they have one new beverage, which is a red wine, Casbah Prestige red wine. And returning items is the Casapel Lager, a mimosa, and a sangria. Yeah.
On to New Zealand. Here's one of Brian's favorites, and we've recreated this at home. Steamed greenlet mussels with garlic butter on toasted breadcrumbs, lamb meatball with spicy tomato chutney, and a seared venison sausage with camara puree. And none of those are vegetarian or gluten friendly, and they're all returning, as Brian mentioned. Beverages, there's the Kim Crawford Sauvignon Blanc. There's a Pinot Noir, and there's also a frozen wine cocktail.
So I'm looking forward to the mussels, of course. I think I had that at least 2 or 3 times. the last festival.
Yeah, he loved them, and so we have made them at home.
Yeah.
They're really good.
So next up is their new. It is a new booth, or it's going to be inside.
New
I
offering.
think inside the pavilion,
Right.
the festival pavilion.
Yep.
It's called the Shimmering Sips Mimosa. For food items, looks like it's all desserts, right? It's chocolate.
Well, I think they're going for breakfast items because they're all croissants, muffins, Danish.
So I got chocolate croissant, almond croissant, a jumbo blueberry muffin, and a cheese Danish. Interesting. And then mimosas. It's all mimosas made with different wines.
They do have one kid-friendly item, a frozen apple pie, which is non-alcoholic.
Oh, interesting enough, they don't have an offering with the frozen apple pie with a shot of vodka or something.
Well, they might, and it might just not be listed on here.
Right.
Because what's interesting about that is they used to have that in the Poland booth. Remember that? They had that frozen apple pie, and that did have vodka or something in it.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was really good.
He said it was like apple pie in drink format. Yeah. And so, who knows, they may have a version that you could add something to.
Yeah. So, move on to Spain.
Sure. So for Spain, they've got a charcuterie. This is all returning, all the food. Charcuterie in a cone. They've got Spanish-style paella, and they've got seafood salad with shrimp, space scallops, mussels. And I want to make a couple of comments about two of these that we've had. Interestingly, even though it's not marked as new, the Spanish-style paella I have had, but I thought it had shrimp on it. So maybe
this is one of the items where they changed a couple.
But
items,
it used to be gluten friendly, and it's not now, which is interesting. So, and the charcuterie in a cone is not gluten friendly because it's in a cone. It's got meat, so he can't eat it. But the paella I had last time had literally like 2 tiny shrimp on it. Like for the price, it was not worth it. So who knows? Maybe the chorizo chicken version will have more meat because chicken's cheaper than shrimp.
Seafood salad, I loved it.
So good.
I loved it.
It's really good.
Yeah.
We both enjoyed that.
Yeah.
It has a slight smoky flavor, which I wasn't a huge fan. I'm talking about where they add that liquid smoke or something.
Smoke. Sometimes, so it's like, again, like I said, from day to day, someone gets a little heavy-handed.
Yep. But it was a good value as well. It was a lot of seafood for the money. Yeah, it was definitely a good value.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. I would say I am too. I definitely am.
Good.
So, and that one's gluten friendly. That's the only gluten friendly item. Now, beverages. Wow, I have no idea how to pronounce these. I don't even know what that is. I'm assuming it's a wine. I guess.
Yeah, they're all wines because it's a wine.
Spanish wines. So, wow, I don't know how to say these. I'm just going to give you please look this up online because I'll just murder
the pronunciation. So if you like wines,
they
have a wine flight here, and there are 2 of the 3 wines, 2 are new. So
so it's a good option, definitely a good option. Yeah. On to Thailand.
Thailand, so nothing is new here. Starting with food items, they got a marinated chicken with peanut sauce, a seared shrimp and scallop cake with cold noodle salad. I do remember having that. I really didn't like it.
You didn't like it.
Yeah,
No, you did not like it.
And a red hot spicy Thai curry beef. Nothing gluten friendly here, and since I didn't like that seared shrimp last year,
this is probably
not going to get it. I'm not going to get it again. Beverages, I only have 2: a Singha Lager and a Maison. What is that? Maison Wilm.
I think that's a wine.
That's some kind of wine.
I think it's a wine. It's a. I don't even know how to say it. But it looks German.
It looks German to me.
It looks German.
But it's Thailand, so who knows? So lastly, sadly, this video has to come to an end. Our last booth. We
should mention before we read this last booth, we are not doing the permanent locations. So there are special food items at the refreshment port, and Joffrey's Cart always has special drinks, and I want to point them out because they have the best value for festival drinks.
Oh yeah.
They have the best size and the best price, and if you so desire, you can order a double of the alcohol of your choice. They usually only have 2 choices. It's usually a spiced rum or a vodka, and you can order a double of the alcohol of your choice if you so choose also for, again, by Disney standards, a reasonable price. So I just wanted to give them an honorable mention even though we're not going to go over the details. So on to Wine and Dine Studio.
The last one.
All right, we've got seared scallops, truffle celery root puree, Brussels sprouts, and wild mushroom. Okay, I can answer your question. This is the one you did like.
Oh, was it?
It was. I can answer
Yeah,
that
you're
for
right.
you.
The celery. I remember the celery puree. I was like, man, that's really good.
This was the scallop that Brian
Yes.
preferred between the two.
Which is kind of funny. It's like you would think the other one was at the coastal. Was
Yeah.
it you would think that would be the good one.
Yeah.
No, you gotta go to the wine and dine to get the good one.
So this is obviously returning since Brian had it, but then new is a butternut squash ravioli with brown butter and vinaigrette, and that is vegetarian. There is also a trio of artisan cheeses, and that's vegetarian. And then there's an artist palette of wine and cheese, which is another trio of cheese and wine, which Brian has had,
cheeses,
and that's all returning. Everything on the artist palette's returning, and you've
Well,
enjoyed that.
all the cheeses are different this year.
Even though it says it's returning.
So all the cheeses are different
that's
this year.
good.
So I'm definitely going to jump in on
Nice to mix
that.
up.
Looking forward to that.
There's nothing here that is gluten friendly. However, this is another one I plan to at least inquire about the scallops. I have a feeling it's the puree, but I could have them leave that off.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask about that this time for sure. And beverages are all new, and they're all wines. There's a Retta Chardonnay, Rainstorm Silver Linings Pinot Noir Rosé, and a Spellbound Petite Syrah. So wow, I can't believe we got through it.
Yeah.
We've wrapped up the food and wine menu. So I hope this helps you in your planning.
Get you excited?
Yeah, we're so excited. We're so excited about this, and we've been anxiously awaiting the menu. So anyway, if you have any questions for us, because we have been to the Food and Wine Festival many times. We actually usually go twice a year to the food festival.
Are we going twice this year, or
we are going twice this year? And before you ask, we'll do a trip announcement for each trip in the future. But we are definitely going to hit it twice this year. And once we go to the first time, we'll try to do a review video of what we like the most. We won't cover everything, but we'll try to at least go over the highlights for us. As always, we appreciate subscribes, likes, shares, and comments. Until our next adventure.